Year, Bhavya.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Nara.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Bhavya.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
चलो पुणे में कॉल करते हैं अर्पित दादा को भी हैप्पी न्यू ईयर की विश करने के लिए।
हाँ भव्या कॉल करो।
दादा
Hi Bhavya.
हैप्पी न्यू ईयर।
Same to you. Happy New Year 2022. Let me switch on my light. Happy New Year.
चलो प्रदीप चाचा को कॉल करते हैं अमेरिका में। हाँ, और हम लोग दर्श और कृष्ण भैया को हैप्पी न्यू ईयर विश करेंगे।
नहीं भव्या, अभी तो वहाँ दोपहर के 1:30 PM हो रहा होगा। हमको उनको 10.5 hours बाद विश करना होगा।
अरे ऐसा क्यों होगा? यहाँ पे रात हो रही तो वहाँ पे दोपहर क्यों होगी?
ऐसा है क्योंकि वो लोग USA में रहते हैं और वहाँ का टाइम हमारे इंडिया के टाइम से 10.5 hours पीछे है। हर कंट्री का टाइम ऐसे ही अलग अलग होता है। चलो इसकी डिटेल्स मैं तुमको बताता हूँ। Hello everyone. In today's video, we will learn about time zones, its origin, how to calculate time in different time zones, and much more. So let's start. At any given moment, the time will be different at different places in the world. While one person is doing exercise early in the morning, another person will be going to bed in the night. Local time depends on what time zone you are in. A time zone is a region on Earth which is bound by longitudes. To understand time zones, start by thinking about the shape of the Earth. You know our planet is a sphere that spins on an imaginary pole called axis. Every 24 hours, the Earth makes a complete rotation. We call each full turn a day. Imagine shining a flashlight at a globe. Only part of it would receive light. The opposite side of the globe would be dark. As Earth rotates, different parts of Earth receive sunlight or darkness, giving us day and night. As our location on Earth rotates into sunlight, you see the sun rise. When our location rotates out of sunlight, you see the sun set. Imagine if the entire Earth had a single time zone. Afternoon would be the middle of the day in some places, but it would be morning, evening, and the middle of the night in other places. Since different parts of Earth enter and exit daylight at different times, we need different time zones. People have lived in different time zones for a long time, but it hasn't always been as organized as it is today. Just over a century ago, towns and cities set their own time. One person would make sure the official town clock read noon when the sun was highest in the sky each day. Then they would go around town and adjust other people's clock to make sure they matched. As the world became more connected, this grew complicated, especially as people began to travel across countries like North America or Russia by train. The many time zones became difficult to follow. At one point, train stations in the United States alone had to keep up with 75 time zones across the country. In the late 1800s, a group of scientists came up with a new system for time zones. They called it Standard Time. To build the time zone map, they studied Earth's movements. As Earth rotates on its axis, it moves about 15 degrees every 60 minutes. After 24 hours, it has completed a full rotation of 360 degrees. The scientists used this information to divide the planet into 24 sections or time zones. Each time zone is 15 degrees of longitude. The imaginary dividing lines begin at Greenwich, a suburb of London. The primary dividing line of longitude is called the prime meridian. Longitude is the angular distance between a point on any meridian and the prime meridian at Greenwich. The time at Greenwich is called the Greenwich Mean Time or GMT. As you move west from Greenwich, every 15 degrees section or time zone is an hour earlier than GMT, while each time zone to the east is an hour later. Not everyone accepted the idea of standard time right away. In fact, many countries continue to set their own times today. For example, in China, it's always the same time all across the country. That's despite the fact that China stretches across three standard time zones. Other nations adopted systems that changed time zones by smaller increments, like 15 or 30 minutes. For that reason, there are more time zones than the standard 24 in use today. Having different time zones means that no matter where you live on the planet, your noon is the middle of the day when the sun is highest, while midnight is the middle of the night. Let's take a closer look at how this works. Let's say you live in Prayagraj, Uttar Pradesh, India, and you have a cousin who lives near Greenwich, London, which is at 0 degree meridian, while Prayagraj is 82.5 longitude, which is 5.5 time zone to the east of Greenwich, which is also written as GMT plus 5.30, as each time zone consists of 15 longitudes which make a 1 hour difference according to direction, east or west. When you are eating lunch at Indian Standard Time of about 12:30 pm, your cousin will be getting out of bed to get ready for school at 7 am in early morning. On the other hand, if you wanted to wish your cousin on a video call on the New Year's Eve, it would be 6:30 in the evening at your cousin's place. So, you will have to wish at 5:30 am of 1st January according to your time in India, so that it is actually the New Year at your cousin's place, that is 12 at night of 31st December. Now, let's talk about the places which are ahead of India in terms of time. Let's take an example of Australia. It is divided into three time zones. The first one is 8 hours ahead of Greenwich Standard Time, which is at 120 degrees longitude. The second time zone is 9.5 hours ahead, which is at 142.5 east longitude, and the third one is 10 hours ahead of Greenwich Standard Time, which is at 150 degrees longitude. This time around, we will talk about Sydney, which lies in the eastmost part of Australia. It lies at 150 degree east longitude, and when we calculate its distance from India, which is at 82.5 degree, it comes out to be 67.5 degrees. So, as we now know that Earth rotates 15 degrees in 1 hour, therefore, when we divide the difference of India and Sydney, that is 67.5 by 15 degrees, it comes out to be 4.5 hours. So, Sydney is at 4.5 hours ahead of Indian Standard Time and 10 hours ahead of Greenwich Standard Time. It is known that such places would experience new days faster than others. So, when the new year happens in Australia, it is actually 7:30 pm in the evening in India due to the 4.5 hours time difference. Now, let's do some calculation and know the process that how can we determine the time of a specific place or country by its longitude. The most important thing is that Earth is divided into two hemispheres according to the time zones. First is Eastern Hemisphere, which covers all places situated at east side of prime meridian or 0 degree of longitude. And second is Western Hemisphere, which covers all places situated at west side of prime meridian. Now, consider the case if two places are on the same side of the hemisphere, either east or the western. In that case, the longitudinal distance of these places will be the difference in longitude of both the place. For example, if one place is at 50 degree east longitude and second place is at 90 degree east longitude, then the difference of both places longitudes will be 90 minus 50, that comes out to be 40 degrees. And if the two places are situated at opposite sides of prime meridian, then in that case the longitudinal distance of these places will be the addition of longitude of both the places. For example, if one place is at 10 degrees east longitude and second place is at 70 degree west longitude, then the difference of both places longitudes will be 70 plus 10, that comes out to be 80 degrees. Now you can see in this case number 1 that both points are in the same hemisphere, the eastern one. So the longitudes must be subtracted to obtain the difference. And in case number 2, that both points are in different hemispheres. So the longitudes must be added to obtain the difference in the longitude. Now let's use this method to calculate the time of any place. If the time at India according to IST at 82.5 degree longitude is 12 noon, then what will be the time at any place situated at 120 degree east longitude? Difference between longitude of two places 120 minus 82.5 comes out to be 37.5 degrees. Since we know that 1 degree is equal to 4 minutes, therefore time difference for 37.5 degrees comes out to be 37.5 into 4, that is 150 minutes. Now change it to hours by dividing 150 minutes by 60. So time difference will be 2.5 hours. Hence, in this case, as time in India was 12 pm, so time at 120 degree east longitude will be 12 plus 230 is equals to 14.30 or 2:30 pm. Second question. If the time at India according to IST at 82.5 degree longitude is 10 am in the morning, then what will be the time at any place situated at 60 degree west longitude? Now, difference between the longitudes of two places will be 82.5 plus 60, that is 142.5 degrees. Since we know that 1 degree is equals to 4 minutes, therefore time difference for 142.5 degrees will be 570 minutes. Now change it to hours by dividing 570 by 60, so time difference will be 9.5 hours. Hence, in this case, as time in India was 10 am, so time at 60 degree west longitude will be 10 minus 9.30, which is 12:30 am of night of the same date. और बताओ, तुम लोगों को कुछ टाइम जोन के बारे में समझ में आया?
हाँ।
अच्छा, तो ये बताओ, अगर कोई कंट्री इंडिया से 30 डिग्री वेस्ट पे है तो उसका टाइम इंडिया से कितना पीछे होगा?
2 घंटे पीछे। अगर यहाँ पे दोपहर के 12 बज रहे हैं तो वहाँ पे सुबह के 10 बज रहे होंगे।
करेक्ट। अच्छा, अब तुम बताओ, अगर कोई कंट्री इंडिया से 60 डिग्री ईस्ट में है तो उसके टाइम और इंडिया के टाइम में कितना डिफरेंस होगा?
4 घंटे। अगर यहाँ पे दोपहर के 12 बज रहे होंगे तो वहाँ शाम के 4 बज रहे होंगे।
अच्छा भैया, ये बताइए, अगर कोई प्लेस 52.5 डिग्रीज ईस्टवर्ड है इंडिया के तो उसका टाइम कितना डिफरेंट होगा इंडिया से?
इंडिया से उसका टाइम 3.5 आवर्स आगे होगा, क्योंकि 15 डिग्री पे 1 आवर आगे होता है, इसीलिए 45 डिग्री पे 3 आवर्स हो गया और 7.5 पे हाफ एन आवर, इसीलिए 3.5 आवर्स।